Benjamin Sesko to Manchester United. This is genuine, I can tell you this. Welcome to MUFC Realist TV, uncensored, a little bit naked as to see today. I'm sorry, it's Saturday. Not really working, but I feel obliged to do this video to tell you a little bit about Benjamin Sesko's situation, where we stand as today, as it was widely reported by myself, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, and everyone else that Manchester United are going to attack the striker target after the completion of a Mbeumo deal. And Mbeumo is going to do his medical this weekend as well, and then travel out to the US tour, which is fantastic news. But we got to move on. And we got to look at the next target. Who are we linked to in the striker position? I have some exclusive news, as I have been following Benjamin Sesko since 2018 and the links to Manchester United. So it goes back, flashback in 2024. Let me tell you this. So I personally followed Sesko and his links to Manchester United rigorously. Believe that he is a Manchester United fan. I know his agent as well, Elvis Bosanovic. And he's been on the radar since 2018, when he was a 2 million move from Domsele, pretty much, to RB Salzburg. 2 years ago, a flashback, I'll get to tell you this, Sesko signed a pre-contract agreement with RB Leipzig, which was the sister club of the RB group from RB Salzburg. But before this, his agent Elvis Bosanovic held several talks with Manchester United over a potential 25 million euro deal. It was a pre-agreement, so there was pretty much an open slate. But what happened at that time? We know that Sesko has been well scouted and documented since 2018. By that time, we had Erik ten Hag, who didn't really fancy him at that point of time. Ten Hag chose to go for Rasmus Højlund. He paid 74 million euros for Højlund, and later on he spent 42.5 million euro on Xerxes, avoiding this golden opportunity to sign Sesko for 25 million. Fast forward to now, where we are now, as we see more and more links linking us to Sesko. I feel kind of obliged, since I've been, first and foremost, like I'm a big fan of Sesko, and I've been following him since 2018 and reporting on it. So I can tell you this. I made some phone calls yesterday, and I found out some very interesting things. Fast forward to now, where we are sitting today, this day of recording, Saturday. Sesko has always been wanted by Manchester United since 2018, right? But now, currently, RB Leipzig's current evaluation is 80 million euros. Even Arsenal refused to meet that demand. So what's going on there? Well, in January, Elvis Bosanovic was speaking to United. United were not ready to make the deal then. He spoke to Chelsea. Chelsea didn't want to do the deal. They were more focused to get Victor Osimhen over the line in January. But Arsenal was the only one that showed interest in Sesko back in January. So they made sort of personal terms already. And enter Andrea Berta further down the track. That we all seen was lining up Gyökeres and Sesko. Why? Because they're similar players. Simple as that. You know, they're not mugs. They're not stupid. They, stylistically speaking, they're this kind of same attributes, like, you know, explosive, fast, good in the air, can run the channels, and something that will really add on to the squad. From a resale perspective, Benjamin Sesko makes sense. But to go for more of the experienced one that can bag your goals and win your instant Premier League, one can understand why Arsenal decided to pivot towards Gyökeres at the end of the day. They want to win now. They've been failing under Arteta for far too long, 4 years in a row now. So I can confirm this 100%, the Manchester United and Sesko, it is now top on the striker list. They had held ongoing talks with his agents ever since January, and recently, most recently this week, they met in Spain. Not really with Wilcox and Barada, but more of the intermediates of Manchester United, led by Christopher Vivell. This is to understand if Manchester United could get this deal lesser than 80 million, what is the situation? Will Sesko want to join? The answer was yes, he wants to join, even without Champions League football. RB Leipzig is not in Champions League, so it makes sense. And could this deal be done for lesser than 80 million? There was pointed out, according to my understanding, is that United and everyone else, you can see what's going on in the market. Osimhen is going for 55 million euros plus add-ons, right? You have Gyökeres going for the same amount of money. Manchester United signed Mbeumo, which is a Premier League proven, for 65 million pounds. And the problem is that at the end of the day, RB Leipzig is kind of evaluating Sesko on his potential, which is very unusual. I mean, it happens. We did that with Rasmus Højlund and that backfired. So we will not do the same mistake again. But I can definitely confirm there was meeting taking place this week in Madrid between Luis Bosanovic, the agency camp intermediate led by Christopher Vivell, as in Reykjavik we had a busy meeting with Jim Ratcliffe, Omar Barada and Will Cox discussing the Mbeumo deal. As Manchester United, in matter of fact, given the green light to go for it. But that doesn't mean that you work on one deal at a time. So regarding RB Leipzig's situation, as per my understanding, is they are under financial pressure, 100%. They're not in Champions League, and therefore they need to offload Sesko and Xavi Simons to raise funds. This is what they're staring at. And currently, nobody is making any moves from Xavi Simons or Sesko. So you could look at RB Leipzig. They were thinking they can get the money what they wanted, 80 million from Arsenal, but Arsenal walked away at the end of the day. They simply wanted to have the deal which just makes sense and which is cheaper for them. If we look at the Sesko deal, yes, it is a cheaper deal to be made. In terms of the agent fees are less. In terms of the transfer fees, can be lowered down. And I tell you what, sources within the club, what I spoke to as well, I had to double check with the United as well, and led by Christopher Vivell. They have a very strong relationship with Vivell, particularly with RB Leipzig. He used to be the recruitment manager, recruitment director for RBL Group. They are adamant and believe that they can land this deal around 50 to 55 million. I don't know if it's pound or euros, but that is also with add-ons. So for years, I can tell you, well, no matter what the media is saying right now, but I can tell you for years, Sesko has been on Manchester United's radar. He's been the one to watch, but it hasn't really been the right opportunity. We had the window of opportunity to sign him on a loan this January, but Sesko was adamant he's going to stay and fulfill his obligations with RB Leipzig, and had agreement with RB Leipzig he's going to leave in the summer. So that never happened, right? Well, I can sort of confirm that Man United's prime target was Delap, was Gyökeres, and now also Sesko. But the reason per se why we didn't go for striker, because everyone knows that we got Cunha over the line early, and we spent 7 weeks to negotiate from Brian Mbeumo, and we refused to do other deals until we got those two over the line, the two number 10s. And why? I did a lengthy video about this yesterday, because if you wouldn't get Mbeumo, you will pivot to another striker. But since you got the dream team, what you wanted, the tier 1 targets, what Ruben Amorim wanted, Cunha on the left, Mbeumo to the right, and then they know exactly which striker they will go for. So Delap, Gyökeres, and Sesko, what are the similar traits? Think about that. They all fits the mold of Amorim's system, right? If you all of a sudden have creativity from the two number 10s and Sesko in the middle that can run the channels, he's fast. He's got a shot outside the 6-yard box. He's tall. He can do great aerial abilities, and he fits the mold of the profile in terms of age. There is a resale value. That makes sense. Surely you can compare his stats last year with another Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins. His stats is actually better than Watkins, and he played lesser games. His conversion rate last season was about 29 percentile, so that's pretty good. And that was him playing out of position. He was not played as a central striker in a struggling RB Leipzig team. So you can imagine if you add on Sesko into a creativity team, play him in the right position, he will bag goals. And that's where we are. So, Dilap, Gyökeres, Sesko, they are definitely on Manchester United top priorities. But ironically, to see that Arsenal has not sealed the deal for Gyökeres as yet, and that would be so ironically if Manchester United go in quickly and get a good deal for Sesko, and Arsenal end up getting snubbed by Gyökeres and Sporting. That'd be something. Strange thing could happen in transfer window. So they all fit Ruben Amorim's system at the end of the day, tactically and stylistically. I really hope you enjoyed this report. I did a tweet back in May on my timeline. Since I do have information from agencies, I said who will become an Arsenal player and who will become a Man United player. One was Gyökeres and one was Sesko. We'll see how this pans out, but we know that Man United and Arsenal both wanted Gyökeres and Sesko. Anyway, guys, this has been me with a little bit of exclusive update. Go check out my Twitter profile as well and subscribe on my Twitter for more further news and updates. This is going to be very interesting to follow. In terms of today, we are playing Leeds in Stockholm, my hometown almost, but it isn't. Sweden is my home country by birth and where I grew up. And this is just me on the chill settings. Show a little bit of chest lines. Anyway, jokes aside, transfer business doesn't always have to be that serious. It can be a little bit of a relaxed, chilled, and how do I say, being the voice of reason. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to like and subscribe, and also leave your comment below. Do you reckon Man United will get this deal off the line if they go for Benjamin Sesko, and what do you think the price will be? I think that Man United will go on the range of 50 to 55 million pounds, based on he's got no Premier League proven, and opportunity at the end of the window. It's his second half of the window. It's always on the buyer's side, not on the seller's side, because now I believe that nobody's coming in to bid for him. They need cash, and this is where you can pounce in and make a bargain. With Christopher Vivell at the helm, I think Man United could actually do this deal on 50-55 plus 10 add-ons if it's needed, and do that in installments. Guys, this has been me having my say on this transfer day, Saturday. Glory, glory, Manchester United. See you the next time. Bye.